Good afternoon, guys, and welcome to this week's Q&A. So, this week I collected questions that were posted in the community, and that gave us some really good content for today. So, we're going to jump into those questions. Some of them I answered within the Facebook community, but I'm going to answer them here too, so you can see and hear them both here on Facebook and in our YouTube communities. So, let's get started. Lots of so's today. So. Okay. All right. Cool. Okay. First question is I realize no one pursues me and I need regular connection that seems like no one I care about needs or wants it as much as I do, except children. How do I deal with that? This is important because, one, regular connection is a normal human need. When we come from connection-centered relationships, when we're healthy and we're coming from our heart, we're going to want connection with other human beings. Narcissistic people don't need connection. That's why they don't pursue you. That's why they don't care about what you need or want. They need supply. Supply is something that makes them feel better about their grandiose sense of self. Okay? It's all about the inflation of their image. Me. It is not the same as connection where it's like, I feel like I'm connected to you. I belong. I'm seen. I'm valued. I'm appreciated. I can go out and play with someone. I can go out and have some fun. I can be supported. I can have good conversation, good interaction, nurture, affection. Specifically, and really importantly, non-sexual or platonic affection. Because affection from narcissists typically just sex. Give us the sex. We want the sex. That's all they want. They don't want to spend time with you. That's just taking away from what they want and their priorities and whatever matters to them. Remember, if you're dealing with people if you're in a relationship or you're in a dynamic that's with a narcissistic person, it's unrealistic to expect that they're going to give a shit about your well-being. They don't. The only thing they care about is supply. So what do we do when we need regular connection with other human beings, especially adults? We need to build out a friendship network. That's what we need first. Because a lot of times we're in this narcissistic, neglectful, unattentive relationship because we were raised in an environment that neglected us, used us, and discarded us. So we've been conditioned into experiencing this as a normal thing. So naturally we'll choose people who do these things. We're not even aware we're doing it. It's completely subconscious. So we got to break that pattern, and we got to do it by experience. And the first and most important place I have my clients and students focus is building their friendship network out. There's some very important reasons for this. Reason number one, friendships are actually more stable and resilient than romantic or sexual relationships. The reason why is because we have a very different context and experience with friendships than we do with romantic relationships, just socially. It's like, yeah, friends fight, friends have conflict, friends, have silent periods, and then they come back together. There's a loyalty built into the experience of friendships. So how do we build friendships? Something I'm going to teach here in a little while, how we build friendships and get into the relationship dynamic with this and Thrive Strategy, and then some of my other courses like Dating to Discover and stuff. But first step in building friendships is to actually develop a community, or to connect with a community where you all share a couple of common narratives, a common focus. This is where like the meetup groups, religious groups, secular groups, hobby groups, things like that come into play. And we become a regular in the group. We start to build connection, general connection, and out of that you'll start to relate with some people more than others, and that's where you're going to build friendships because you have chemistry with them. You like them, they like you. You go out and do things. As adults, that can actually be pretty damn difficult because time, we have interference from jobs, from children, from our own responsibilities, and they do too. So this requires persistence on our part in order to make that happen, okay? That's going to be challenging for us because a lot of times, because of the neglect and abuse we've dealt with, we feel a lot of shame about who we are and a lot of fear about being rejected. We need to heal that shame and address that fear of rejection and shift it from rejection equaling value to rejection equaling fit or compatibility. And then we can effectively get in there and get to know people. It's a tandem process though. But I do recommend starting with relieving the shame about who you are and what you want, what you need, and then moving into the practice and play in a mutual context, which means joining a group, getting to know people, having some experiences together. It can be as simple as joining a hiking group or a cooking group or a knitting group or whatever might work. I'm part of a movie group. I'm part of a singles group. I am part of I'm actually part of a dance group, even though that didn't really work out well. I'm part of a concert group, got to EDM things. So yeah, get out there. Let people see you. Get to know them. This is where we start building that friendship. And in that general friendship, we build primary relationships, best friends, support networks, people we can rely on, people that care about us. From there, we have a safety net that allows us to go out and explore the world and do some real big things like date or change jobs or start a business or take on a hobby or move or whatever it might be, because we now have a support network behind us. That empowers us to move forward in our lives proactively and in a way that benefits our sense of safety, belonging, and connection. So that's what you need to do there first, because as you build friendships, you're going to start getting those needs met, okay? Because a lot of the times we're really drained on social needs. The other way we can start meeting our needs, especially if we're dealing with connection, is the nurture process that can help us connect internally, which empowers us to connect externally too. Okay, and nurture process is part of the Codependency confidence system. So there you go with that one. Question number 2, I care, and at the end of the day I feel like I get leftover crumbs. I am so tired. How do we deal with that? Am we expecting too much? Am I just a needy person? The thing is, if we're in a relationship and we're getting breadcrumbs, we need to step back and evaluate what's really going on in the relationship first, and identify what we want, what we're not getting, how they respond to those wants, and how they respond to our requests or bids for connection in those wants, and then how they respond to our complaints about not getting that. Okay? We need to have communication there. Now, I'm assuming, let's say this person you're in a relationship with is healthy, but maybe they've got some wounding, maybe they've got some programming and interference. This is a fantastic space for communication. It's a fantastic place to grow and explore things together, as long as they're interested in doing that for themselves. That's the kicker. Okay? Now, what if they're not? Then you can start asking yourself the question, am I happy here? Am I more happy in this relationship than I'm not? Right? Because there is a cost that comes with any kind of relationship outside the narcissistic realm that we're going to invest, we're going to pay. It's just part of being in a relationship with that person. And sometimes if we're in love with them, they're in love with us, they treat us well. There's not abuse, there's not overt neglect, there's not gaslighting, there's just emotional blocks in the way. Then it's reasonable to put some investment time into it and invite them to go to therapy, invite them to explore themselves, and give them time and space to explore that. Now, if it's been years and they're not changing, then you got to make a decision. Do you want to stick with what you've got, or do you want to move forward into the world? And that really depends on how empty you feel in a relationship, how well that's nurturing your overall needs. That's a complicated journey right there, and that's one that is really individual. But as to the question, are we expecting too much? Am I just a needy person? No. Okay? No. It's normal to want to connect with people you are in love with and you have love for. It's normal to want to spend time with them and to have affection with them and have it reciprocated. It's normal to feel like you should be a priority in their life. Normal. So no, we're not actually needy. Needy is a gaslighting term. I don't agree with it. It's like that other term, what is it called? Reactive abuse. Bullshit. We're not needy. We have needs, and we have needs that have certain intensities because some needs are really, really starving, and some are not so starving. They're content. If we feel like we're needy, we've internalized a very big shame statement about our needs and about the magnitude of our needs. If our needs are actually being met, we're not gonna be in pain. Okay? So if you're in pain, you're like, this isn't working for me. I'm in pain. That's all that matters. So give up this narrative about being needy. Stop gaslighting yourself and trust that your needs are valid. And do trust it and then explore it. Make it true because it's part of your personal autonomy. Needs are valid. You have the right to have a need. You have the right to occupy that need. You have a right to ask for its fulfillment, and you'll have a right to go out and get it met. If people aren't going to meet it in the relationships you're in, you have a right to change the relationships, its terms, and go out and meet your needs elsewhere. That's up to you, though. That's, it's a very personal journey on whatever those needs are and how they get met. Okay? But you're not expecting too much if you're expecting to be seen and valued and made a priority and to have your needs considered and respected by your significant other. That's why romantic relationships tend to be fragile is because people don't have a really good relationship about reciprocating needs and meeting people where they're at. Because we have all this wounding, we have all this programming that says, we could get abused, we could get used. Yeah, we could. We can actually minimize that probability by learning how to choose people first that are actually going to invest in us. So we actually build safety in our vulnerability through the process, and that's what we do in the relationship structure, relationship programming dynamics that I teach in Thrive Strategy. All right, next question is, and this is, he references the ex-narcissist. The ex-narcissist has moved on, being his normal self. So why am I so stuck in this relationship? Why am I so stuck in these feelings about what's going on? Well, number one, stop comparing yourself to the narcissist. The narcissist doesn't give a shit. He's just getting his supply somewhere else. Of course he's going to move on like everything's normal. That's what they do. They don't care. You're struggling. There's stuckness there because you have feelings about what's going on. You have feelings about him. You have feelings about the relationship. There's grief in that. There's some denial in it. There's some shame probably in there. There can be, a little messy in there. Give yourself permission to be stuck. Give yourself permission to acknowledge reality so you're not playing in the fantasy anymore. Break that denial. And give yourself permission to honor what you have felt and what you've gone through, because guess what? Just because it wasn't real for him doesn't mean it wasn't for you. Your feelings matter. You were in love with this person. This person was your spouse. There's going to be a lot of complex feelings there, complex grief with this. And that's normal. Give yourself some time. But don't ever compare yourself to the narcissist. It's not the... That only puts you in a box that inhibits your ability to be you. They are a bad measure. They do not belong in your life. You don't get rid of that. You don't need to do that anymore. Okay? All right. Okay. So, and the last question is there a point where you stop paying penance for your mistakes? Yes. Yes, there absolutely is. When you choose to. See, we don't have to atone for our mistakes. We need to be accountable. And accountability is about owning it with the person we've affected. That's it. We don't have to carry the burden and feel the shame and the guilt. None of that's going to fix anything anyway. It's not going to change anything. I mean, if it did, then you wouldn't even be asking that question. No. We have the right to move on from our mistakes. Because guess what? Every person in existence is making mistakes. And every single person in existence has made at least 2 or 3 biggies. that they regret or that affected other people in a pretty significant way. And yet everybody's still alive, yet we all are moving on. Yeah, right? Majority of mistakes aren't going to actually, impair something. So there are mistakes that do. I'm not denying that. But even with those, we can move forward anyway. It's not that we're moving forward because we're callous, we lack empathy. It's we're moving forward because that's what we do. That's the gift of growth, right? So we can be accountable for our choices. We can express our remorse or our grief or our sadness for the impact our decisions or actions made on an individual. We can empathize. But we don't have to carry shame and guilt about it, and we don't have to constantly cycle through it. That's not useful. What is useful is going, yeah, I really screwed the pooch on this one, and here's how I feel this way about how I've affected your life, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And then we can just connect and understand and move from there. And that's where we get closure. That's where we get release, or forgiveness, as some people call it. And we can move on. We have the right to do that. Okay? All right. So that's this week's questions, guys. I appreciate you. Thank you for being a part of the group. Remember to share your journey, your story, your questions, your concerns, your challenges, your successes in the group. A lot of you are lurkers. A lot of you are introverts. Take a chance. Reach out. Post, and let's share. Let's connect. Let yourself be seen. And guess what? You can do it all you want. The only limit we have in the group is memes. Please don't post more than one meme a day. Generally, memes take they need to be relevant to the group, and then one a day, that should be enough. Okay. Otherwise, guys, thank you for showing up again. I appreciate you. And you guys have a great day. And I will see you in group, and I will see you in our next training. Have a good night, guys.